Oh, do I? I'll tell you what, for Iowa, the phenomenal freshman Caitlin Clark leads the Big Ten in scoring and assists. And on the other side, Diamond Johnson. She is just so dynamic, so much poise as a game. Offense for Iowa or defense for Rutgers.
Diamond Johnson and Rutgers win the tip, and it's a quick shot by Aurelia Garantes. You think that they were waiting to play in this game? There's your answer.
Aurelia Garantes averages 20 points a game, and she has just been such a rock of stability for Rutgers this year.
So here's Iowa's first possession, and they toss it away.
And that's McKenna Warnock who threw that away, and you can see that she has a patch on her neck. She really took a hard hit yesterday and has had some neck issues during the day today.
These two teams met, as you see. Iowa took that one back on December 31st. Hawkeyes won it 90-84. Garantes gives it up, and the reverse from Mack won't fall. But another opportunity for the Scarlet Knights. Diamond Johnson for three, the freshman. The first points of the game.
Well, Iowa's going to play so many different defenses. They played zone here to start the game, a 2-3. And Mack was underneath that back line of the zone, couldn't finish it. But Diamond Johnson nailed that triple on the kick out.
Johnson second on the team, right behind Aurelia Garantes. They have been the 1-2 punch offensively for the Scarlet Knights. Here's Giles defending Caitlin Clark, and she is whistled for the foul. We'll see Vivian Stringer and Rutgers are going to have to defensively try to figure out how to stop Caitlin Clark, the best scorer in the country right now. And when you don't get 1,055 wins without figuring out problems like that.
Well, we said iron sharpens iron. Both will be stretched. Caitlin Clark will be trying to figure out what she sees and recognizes defensively, and see Vivian Stringer, the veteran pioneer in our game. She has some things figured out on that defensive end for what she wants from Rutgers, and that was a nice block there.
Singleton has been playing really well, coming off a career high in terms of points and rebounds in the last game that Rutgers played against Ohio State.
And she's been tremendously active, and I think that's been the difference for her. She is involved in every single play instead of in spurts throughout a game.
Garantes to Mack, who has looked for her offense more the last couple of years. And Iowa that time with a defensive stop. The Hawkeyes still looking for their first points of this game. Marshall will take her try, and we're tied at 3.
Well, Iowa was really struggling yesterday, Lisa, from 3, and Lisa Bluter said, hey, if we can win a game shooting the 3 ball that poorly, then we're in good shape in other ways. They got the ball inside last night to Monica Sinano. She was 16 of 18 from the floor for those 38 points, a career high for her on the interior.
Tight coverage, Kate Martin trying to defend Garantes. The shovel pass to Singleton, too strong, but right back to Singleton. She won't miss a second time.
She stays persistent, stayed with the play. She could have easily just jogged off like, oh, you got it. No, she stayed right in the mix. Got a piece of the ball and preserved the possession on the second chance bucket.
Giles again with this defensive assignment. They have so many defensive choices to try to put on her. Monica Sinano picking up where she left off in the second round game.
Well, Diamond Johnson, you could see she was up the line on that weak side to try to thwart that lob pass, but she was just a split second too late to disrupt it.
Max 3 won't fall. And Monica Sinano coming off that career high 38 points in the second round game against Purdue yesterday. Warnock for 3. Kate Martin, a big offensive rebound. And Johnson, you know, she's tiny. She's listed at 5'5", but she can get up.
She's got some bunnies on her right there. Well, you just don't see that.
They're going to let them play a little bit, but both Singleton and Giles are slow to get up.
Oh, boy.
And so numbers the game, but then Iowa tosses it away. It gave up an opportunity there. When we talked to Lisa Bluter, you see the frustration on her face to begin with, and she was incredibly frustrated. Even though they won against Purdue, it was a grind-it-out kind of win. I mean, they averaged, we showed you, they averaged the second most points in the country at 87, and they got to 83, but I was surprised, frankly, that they got to the 83 mark.
The way they were shooting that 3, I mean, they were missing shots that they typically would make from the outside, but it was their defense that saved them yesterday.
from the other side. Diamond Johnson misses the second attempt. This time Garantes on Clark. Remember, Clark only had 2 3-point makes in that last game. One each coming in the first and the second half, and Garantes has her first points.
Aurora Garantes could have gone to the WNBA draft last year, decided to return, to come back. She said there was unfinished business. And she has been a great leader. They had that 5.5-week pause, almost 6-week pause after December 31st. And they have not lost in their return.
We got a 3-second violation that time on Monica Sanano. Let's check in with Olivia Decker.
Thank you, Lisa. Obviously, Iowa played the late game last night. Now they've got the late game tonight. And this morning in shoot-around, Coach Bluter was imploring her players, get up. This is March. This is it. Everyone's tired, but you've been here before. And, you know, last night really required a fight. The threes weren't falling, like Christy said. They had to do their work down low. 44 points in the paint, in large part to Monica Sanano. And Coach told me they're expecting the Rutgers defense, which is the best in the Big Ten, to try to front her, single her out. But she knows the poor perimeter shooting, that's an aberration. The Hawkeyes are confident in their adjustments tonight, but so far just 1 for 3 from downtown.
The traveling call, too, by Rutgers and Singleton. You know, to Olivia's point, in our conversation with Lisa Bluter, they're such a really good three-point shooting team. I mean, tops in the Big Ten in terms of three-point shooting percentages. Lisa Bluter said she told her team to go away from shooting the three-point shot against Purdue. I can't remember the last time that she encouraged her team to not shoot the three.
So they were hunting those threes. They weren't falling, and you do want to keep that next shot mentality, but when they're not falling, those are turnovers because those are long rebounds. Your poster in there, they can't get to those. So she said she was disturbed a little bit at the end when those threes were going up late in the game.
Marshall takes it inside for the 2, and we're tied at 7. Yeah, shooting just under 14% from 3 in that game against Purdue. The season low 3 threes. Had to go about it the other way. Wrapped up that time. McKenna Warnock was all over it. 4:17 left to play in the first quarter. Deadlocked at 7 between the Scarlet Knights and the Hawks.
Middle to relieve some of that pressure, and they also have to be communicative on the defensive end. And for Rutgers, they want to pressure everywhere. It's not just in that press that they're going to be showing traps and pressuring you to speed your game up. It's everywhere on the floor. And then they also lead the conference in points allowed.
A hard foul. So Clark had to split between Mack and Giles. Resume play. Caitlin Clark is going to have to get to know Takia Mack and Mael Giles really well here tonight. He's going to be facing them all night long. Here is Mack.
Well, it's much easier to pass to break the press than it is to dribble through it.
And Sanano still perfect. 2 for 2.
Caitlin Clark said that Monica Sanano is her favorite target on the interior. They just have tremendous chemistry. Even though Caitlin Clark is a freshman, you usually don't see that kind of chemistry that they have until after about a year and a half playing together.
Johnson walks with it. Oh, go Monica Sanano's way. That's always a good idea.
Got a screen right there, and then great maneuvering with the basketball up top by Clark to get the proper angle. We don't talk about that enough. We're talking about great passes, but there has to be good angles to passes, and that's what Caitlin Clark did with her dribbling. She dribbled with a purpose.
Here's the pressure coming on Clark. No points right now for Caitlin Clark. 0 for 2 shooting to begin this game. And with Mack hawking her, she's going to take it off the bounce. Those are her first points.
No stopping Caitlin Clark on that one. Like a hot knife through butter on that drive.
She leads the country in scoring. The Big Ten's Freshman of the Year. She was also up for Player of the Year. Garantes dumping it down to Mack. Johnson knew what she wanted to do with it before she got the basketball. And Clark doubling down.
Fantastic scramble on the defensive end by Iowa right there. They were right there on every single catch, and they were right there on the rotation to deflect it.
Normally it's Rutgers who has some of the better defensive plays, but Iowa has been playing some good defense. Garantes from distance. That never touched the rim. It'll be Iowa basketball.
You know that Caitlin Clark is going to draw some tough defense right here. She says, that's all right. I know what to do with the basketball. I know what angle to attack and finish.
Tomi Taiwo has checked in, and she immediately finds Monica Sanano. That's her first miss of the evening. It's always noticeable, or always notable, I should say, when Monica Sanano misses a shot. They got a blocking foul that time. The emotions are high with Caitlin Clark and some of these other players early in this one.
Take a look. Here's Diamond Johnson, freshman on freshman right here. And looked like Clark got a piece of the hip.
It's the first personal for Clark as Marshall chases it down. She had Singleton hawking her. She gets the lay-in instead.
A nice run-out opportunity for Iowa. Second in the country in scoring, behind Maryland. Two Big Ten teams leading the country in that way. We'd love to see that.
An 8-0 Iowa run has given them the lead. Look at this. The emotions running high on the Hawkeye side.
And you'd love to see, like you said, Lisa, it's because of their defensive effort. Usually you see them applauding great passes on the other side that lead to fantastic shots. But they have really come to play on the defensive end early in this one.
Clark with the crossover and finds Sanano. That's that law firm that you love to buy into.
The law firm of Clark and Sanano in full effect right now. And then hands all up on the other side. That's just that Kate Martin leadership. She told them, all hands up, and everybody's hands went up. She's the heart and soul of this Iowa team in many ways.
Toronto is taking a couple dribbles in. And it'll be Iowa basketball once again. The law firm of Clark Sanano.
Watch right here. Nice pass on the weak side and just right there. Ready for it.
It's your nickname, and Dalpers loved it, so he created this logo.
Yeah, I love it. You know, you have Caitlin Clark shooting logo threes, and now we get a logo for the Clark and Sanano law firm. We appreciate you.
Appreciate all the love. Of course we do. They can work to solve all your basketball cases. Marshall off the mark that time. It'll be Scarlet Knights basketball. It has been physical. It always is against a Rutgers team. This is what happened to Kate Martin. Took an elbow and Maya Giles.
Sitting in that 2-3 zone, Rutgers has to work to get the ball to that second side.
Another one-and-done opportunity here for Rutgers, and off and running is Iowa. Looking towards Sanano. Johnson with the speed will take it in, and it drops home. She's got a free throw coming up.
Calm, cool, and collected. Diamond Johnson gets into the gap, pushes tempo the other way, knows the defense is right there, and plays that perfectly, like a fiddle. That's great offense. We always say, oh, that's a great defensive play. That's great offense because she made that read and ducked right in front of the defender to create that contact.
Rutgers had about a 4-minute scoring drought. They needed to find some offense if they could. They have a lane violation, and they're still working on Kate Martin. On the sideline.
It's like they're checking her teeth.
Definitely. Singleton almost had a pickoff. Taiwo, that hesitation. And they leave Marshall wide open for three. She drills it.
Breaking the pressure is one thing, but then getting the ball into the quarter court and continuing to move the basketball that was the success of that possession for Iowa.
Marshall already with 10 points. A couple of three-point makes. She likes playing against Rutgers. Her career high came last year in March against Rutgers' team. She put up 22. Garantes, they've made it tough for one of the best scorers in the Big Ten, and Arella Garantes is now frustrated.
They have been tremendous. This is why they're one of the top scoring teams in the country. This is why they are still alive in this tournament, because they have complementary players who are consistent.
Kate Martin has re-entered this game again now for Iowa after getting patched up a little bit after taking that elbow. Marshall, one of the players in the supporting cast, by the way, had outscored Rutgers in that first quarter, 10-9. And Martin feeding Sonano, beautiful pass that time, and Arella Garantes was there. She's going to get whistled for the foul.
Monica Sonano does such a tremendous job. We spoke with the Rutgers coaching staff in terms of how to limit the touches inside. And what Sonano does so well, see, she already has her left foot planted in the paint. Usually post players are square to the passer, number to number with the passer, if you will. But she already has that left foot drop, so she's already into the drop step. So when she catches it, all she has to do is release it and put it on the glass. So they had to limit her positioning, not just limiting her touches.
Good post play has been one of the MOs of this Iowa basketball program. Dan Jensen has been the post coach for several years. Just most recently, Coach Megan Gustafson, Coach obviously Monica Sonano, Morgan Johnson, Bethany Doolittle, Kenny Blackstone over at Drake when this coaching staff was coaching at Drake together. Dee McCavey listed, and here's Sonano. Oh, she's going to get called for the offensive foul, though, that time. And it's Zippy Broughton who's entered the game for the first time for Rutgers, drawing the charge.
Zippy Broughton, she's back, and she's up that back line, taking the charge from Monica Sonano, who did not know she was there because, right, she already has that position in place, but she didn't check that secondary defender who was there to help.
Zippy Broughton missed considerable time this year with a lower body injury. We're expecting to see her play about 12 to 15 minutes tonight for the Scarlet Knights.
The coaching staff said they would love to play her for 40 minutes, but that's just not feasible right now. They have to ease her back into things.
They're certainly happy to have her back. She was actually a starter at the beginning of the year, and Diamond Johnson was the one coming off the bench. It's been a while since we called Caitlin Clark's name, now 4 points.
The Rutgers coaches, they told us today, they said if Diamond Johnson's on the floor, she's playing the 1. Like, she's not going to bump off and play the 2, and Zippy's going to play the 2, 3, and possibly the 4.
Well, Zippy B is what you'd call her, Christy. Zippy Broughton. This is what she can Broughton, if you will, to the team with her return.
I love that, Lisa, so much. Listen, she is a leader for this team. She's a team captain. So, yes, she has great stats coming back. Very efficient, 48% from the floor. 2 steals a game. One of 4 Rutgers players averaging 2 or more steals per contest. But it's her presence that really makes the difference for this team.
Garantes is starting out with a tough shooting night. 1 for 7. Now for Rutgers' leading scorer. We've seen all the leading scorers here in this evening session kind of struggle. We saw Nia Clouden and Allie Patberg, a couple of the leading scorers, or the top scorers for each of their teams in the first game.
Postseason, yes, you want your stars to star. You want them to step into the bright lights and do what they've done to get the team here. But you also discuss it the most. That's when they say there's history here. And 2 of the assistant coaches for Rutgers, Michelle Edwards and Nadine Damon, played at Iowa for head coach Steve Vivian Stringer when she was coaching there during her 12-year tenure. So there's a lot of connections in our game, but this one is very sweet.
I always say, you know how much a head coach does to a program and how much they mean to the players when the players always not only come back, but the players want to work for you.
Absolutely.
Giles from the corner. Just recently, now that's a 2, but just recently she has shot really well from behind the 3 in the last few games going into the Big Ten tournament.
Just put the time in. You don't just come out and test it out, test the waters in a game. You put in the time on your own.
And that backdoor cut there for Iowa. So good at that as Warnock gets the 2.
Fantastic read. And that's what Iowa does well. They space you out, and they surgically operate offensively.
Broughton thought about it. Give it up to Johnson instead, and she's had a couple of those turnovers early in this game.
Well, that pivot foot went back before the ball went to the ground. Diamond Johnson whistled for that turnover.
5 buckets to 7 turnovers. That's not the ratio you want. And trailing by 11, now trailing by 14. Marshall is getting comfy cozy in that corner.
She sure is. I mean, she has been knocking them home. A 75% clip right now, 3 of 4 for Gabby Marshall behind the line.
Here's Johnson. Johnson with the 5 points. They leave Mack open.
Sometimes you can get baited into settling for jumpers.
It's like glue on her fingertips. Monica Sonano for another 2.
Well, she's got mitts for sure. And just throw it in her area. She's going to come down with that basketball.
She's got that old school look too, right? The wrist taped up, the knee pads, like the old school post player. She comes down with another rebound.
That's right. It gets hectic down there in the paint.
Johnson, that little Euro step and the reverse falls. It's a pro move by the freshman.
Oh. Diamond Johnson. They dug down deep in her bag for that one. In transition with a defender present.
From that corner, it's Warnock. Marshall grabs it. Marshall will take it. Why not? Because you can do that. Can't give her any space here tonight.
Well, she felt the defense behind her, and she was like, all right, you're back there. I'm up here holding my follow-through. Once again, with that gooseneck for a triple. 4 of 5 for Gabby Marshall from 3. 16 points.
That was like pregame warm-ups where you pick up the loose ball and just chuck it up there.
Exactly.
Mack with the spin move against Sonano, and Sonano is whistled for the foul.
Caitlin Clark, she has 4 assists already. Look at this one. Perfect. A great dime to Sonano. And Gabby Marshall, watch right here. She feels the defense behind her. Nobody's going to contest it. Wide open spaces. All net.
Normally, we don't see Matt close out that late. One of the better defenders on the Scarlet Knights team.
She just got caught up. The timing is off. But again, that's what Iowa does to you. They spread the floor so well.
It'll be Meyer this time. Looking for 3. Iowa shooting 4 of 9, and Clark got fouled by Broughton. All in her face. She'll have 3 free throws coming up.
Well, at least they knew to contest her 3 feet behind the line. There's a silver lining.
I laugh because that is ridiculous, but you have to do this.
There's a silver lining to the effort by Zippy Broughton right here. Look how far back Caitlin Clark is, and that's in her wheelhouse. That's not a heave or a chuck by her. She's shooting her shot.
Caitlin Clark has taken some hard fouls already in the first half. She's got one more coming up.
She ended up with 27 points yesterday, Lisa, but she also had 7 rebounds and 8 assists, so she was flirting with the triple-double, even though she was not really on her game, especially from 3. But she found other ways to score. She got herself to the basket. She got herself to the line. She set up her teammates with those 8 assists. She has been knocking in some deep threes. It's like layups from the outside. Look at this one. Oh. My goodness. I mean, you've got to find her. She's a logo shooter from 3. And you cannot guard her if you want to, but she's going to drain them time and time again.
Johnson for 3. That's her first, or this is her second three-point make of the game. Marshall sizing it up. Red hot. Her 5th three-point make of the half.
Incredible for Iowa right now from 3. As much as they struggled yesterday from 3, Lisa, they have just been polar opposites. A full 180 in terms of the success rate this evening.
And Garantes, just her second bucket. She was 1 of 8 before that shot. You know, Iowa just saved all of its three-pointers for tonight. Marshall, could she do it again? Yes! Gabby Marshall!
Somebody guard her, please. Oh, my goodness, she is letting that thing fly free.
She has tied her career high in the first half.
Incredible.
And D'ing her up. Warnock whistled for the foul.
Well, there's Diamond Johnson knocking in a 3 for Rutgers, and let's see how quickly the shot goes up on the other side by Gabby Marshall. A couple of seconds, about 5 seconds, and then the next time, one more. Swing it. A swing, triple. And those 3s are going in clean. Gabby Marshall is not playing games with you today from range.
And Garantes gets it to drop. And 1 for Aurelia Garantes. And she just looks fed up.
And she can't, right? Even though it's frustrating, the situation is frustrating, but the Rutgers players feed off of her body language. So if she's fed up, guess what? That's going to be a domino effect emotionally for the team. And you can feel that way. I'm not saying, hey, you can't feel frustrated in a frustrated situation. No, you can, but you can't show it as a leader. You've got to plow through it and say next play, and let's do this together. I mean, Aurelia Garantes is the player who cooks meals for the team. I mean, she is like the one who brings everyone together. She's a leader on and off the court, so they feed off of her one way or the other.
And she's a 92% free throw shooter, and she just missed poorly on that free throw attempt.
Mindset.
The largest deficit that Rutgers has faced so far this year. Iowa will keep it with 11 seconds left on the shot clock. I see Vivian Stringer and the Scarlet Knights staff ran into a shooting buzzsaw that is this Iowa Hawkeye offense in the first half.
And Lisa, you were talking about coming in and playing a game. I think that made a difference.
You know, all 4 of the top seeds have had slow starts here today. Johnson is short.
Rutgers trying to operate against this zone. They need to bring somebody to that high post area to relieve that pressure.
Johnson with the step back for 3.
Or pull the 3 against the zone as well.
13 points now for Diamond Johnson. And Iowa turns it over. Stay tuned, coming up for the State Farm halftime report. And we talked about the top seeds. Today was the first day that we saw all 4 of them. And it was a challenge for Maryland to pick up a win. Michigan lost to Northwestern, and Indiana lost to Michigan State. So it's not looking so good so far going into this game for the top 4 seeds.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, all of the lower seeds came out swinging for the hills. And 2 of the teams found success.
And the winner of this one will play Michigan State. Garantes is short. Mack coming down with it.
Shoe came off.
It's Mack's shoe. And she's sitting down, putting it on. And meanwhile, she'll watch her teammate get the 2. Of an official stoppage of play. It's that left shoe that popped off. Meanwhile, Diamond Johnson has 15 points. 15 of the 25 for the Scarlet Knights in this first half.
Well, watch right here. You see Takia Mack right there. That's what you call a flat tire. Shoe popped off.
She kept it alive.
See, kids these days, they wear the low tops and they don't tie them tightly. That's why they pop off the foot like that. I sound like a mom. I digress. I'm back.
You also sound like you played before low tops were popular.
I did.
14-point advantage. Marshall. Oh, that was going to be a career high for her if that one dropped home. She has tied a career high in points and three-pointers made in the first half. Warnock for three. Iowa now 6 of 15 from back there.
So both of these teams have 8 turnovers. The Rutgers turns teams over 20 times a game. But Iowa, they've been able to score 14 points off of those 8 turnovers, and Rutgers just 9. And that's been a difference maker, I believe, as well as Iowa's hot shooting hand.
Clark with the baseline, can't get it. Marshall with another opportunity. And she tosses it away. Shot clock not in play. Rutgers can hold it for one final shot if they want to.
For a quality shot here to get some kind of traction headed into the halftime locker room.
Martin, yeah, she takes a shot here.
We already saw Martin over on the sideline getting tended to with a mouth injury, but right there. And you've got to call the screens as well. Yes, it was a hard hit. It was a hard hit, but your teammates have to help you by calling it out if you don't see it yourself. Keep your head on a swivel and see the contact coming.
It's Singleton's first personal. That's the first time there's been a disconnect on a pass between Clark and Sinano tonight.
Just a little bit too high. The idea was proper. Execution, not so much.
0.8 of a second left before we were about to begin the second half. They didn't shoot around at all. They didn't have time.
They did not have time, but we'll see if what was said to them makes a difference in how they play in this second half.
Mack closing out on Kate Martin's attempt. And here's Garantes with Clark. So they shut down Iowa on that first possession. We'll see what they can do offensively now. Mack over to Garantes for the corner. They're focused, that's for sure.
Well, 3 of 11 is what Arella Garantes shot from the floor in that first half, and they need her to come alive in the second half, much like we saw Nia Clouden come alive for Michigan State in the game prior to this one.
It'll stay Iowa basketball.
Arella Garantes did a nice job right here of relocating to the corner. You don't stand after you pass the ball. Then the defense can recover to you easier. You've got to move, relocate yourself so when they go to recover, you're not there, you're in a different spot, and you get a clean look.
And already you can feel just this positive emotional momentum that Rutgers is dealing with, but they got to try to stop that. And so many Big Ten teams have trouble trying to stop Monica Sinano.
When you sit behind, you cannot sit behind her. We've said that time and time again. I mean, yesterday she was 16 of 18 from the floor for a reason. There was no double team coming her way. She wasn't having her space crowded. You've got to stay loose and get to one side or the other.
And Garantes gets the and one. She could have a quick 6 points to open up the half.
And she needs it. Arella Garantes right here. Well, that pass from Mack between the legs, okay. But right here, the little floater, and gets a nice bounce off the rim. And see, that's the body language we're talking about. Arella Garantes needs to be a leader in all ways, counting body language.
12 points now for Garantes. She's got all 6 of the points here in the third quarter to open it up for the Scarlet Knights.
Takia Mack could just hit the floor like she's ready to play some defense.
Oh, yeah.
That's a telltale sign.
That's what I'm saying. This positive energy to Olivia's report. we know that the Scarlet Knights team is an emotional team, and sometimes that can have a positive effect, and sometimes that can have a negative effect. And they were deflated in the first half, but they have come out charged up to begin the second half. That's Gabby Marshall, who's slow to get up.
Let's see what happened right here to Gabby Marshall. Goes up for the rebound and just gets bumped by Singleton. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the attitude being on point, you can be a whiner or you can be a winner. It doesn't matter what the score is. You have a choice, though.
Touch passes all around the horn, and Sonano misses. Just her third miss tonight. Garantes dumping it off to Singleton.
Good job by Singleton to get it out for a reset. She did not have a clean look. She was below the block. Bad angle for a shot attempt.
Ellie got a holding foul that time on Megan Meyer. That is her first.
Let's see what happened with Megan Meyer. She was just trying to get through a screen. You can't run through the screen. You have to do your best to avoid it.
Johnson, off balance, gets the shot off anyhow. And Clark with no three-point makes here so far. She's 0 for 3 before this shot, and that's her first one, knocks it down.
There it is. Well, there it is. Caitlin Clark. I'm telling you, she leads the country in scoring for a reason. She is aggressive and confident with her skill set, knows what to do.
There's an assist for Garantes finding Singleton. And the first assist for Garantes to go with her 12 points. But there's a learning curve, Christy, to play with a player like Caitlin Clark. It's something that Lisa Bluter had talked about with her teammates. They had to learn the fact that she plays with a little pizzazz, the fact that she could pull from right there in their offensive set.
And she also said that Caitlin Clark had to make some adjustments as well, because with USA Basketball, with her high school team, it was always go get me a bucket. And get out of the way and get me a bucket, but she's learned to share.
And now she's sharing to Sonano and saying, Monica, you go get me a bucket.
Get us a bucket, right? And I think that has been what Caitlin Clark has brought into the team unity.
Back is too strong off the three attempt. A really good offensive rebound by Giles. And they leave her open in the corner. Giles in that Penn State series was 5 of 10 from 3. In the 2 games when they went back-to-back, it was a home-and-home series with the Lady Lions. The give, the go. That is Iowa basketball to a T. Sharon the Rock for 2.
21 assists per game for Iowa in conference play. And that's the reason why. They're very unselfish. All 5 positions are ready for kickouts.
Sonano with 14 points, sitting at 999 career points after that basket. And Garantes, I mean, Kate Martin was there in her face challenging.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for from your player. Get a hand up. You don't want to give up open looks. Contested shots, those are tough to make.
So tough, that tandem. And there is 1,001 career points for Monica Sonano.
Well, congratulations to her. She has worked so hard. Played behind Megan Gustafson as a freshman. Evolved her game last year into a reliable scorer for Iowa. And this year, boy, she has just taken the reins of being a key contributor for the Hawkeyes.
A great story of someone who accepted their role. Didn't give up when you're playing behind an All-American and a National Player of the Year as a freshman. You decide to learn from that All-American and get better. And look at Monica Sonano now in her junior season.
She's a worker, and that's what it takes to improve.
Johnson for three.
Nice execution there by Rutgers. Setting the screen right there on the inside corner of the top line, allowing Diamond Johnson to clear herself for the triple up top.
Diamond Johnson 4 of 8 from 3 right now. She's got 18 points to lead the Scarlet Knights. And Matt going down hard trying to save the basketball there. And
strength against strength. And Iowa, second leading team in terms of scoring in the country. And then Rutgers, one of the most staunch defensive teams in the country.
Another three-point make. She was 0 in the first half. She's got a couple now to start the third.
And once she sees that ball going in, I'm telling you, it becomes an unconscious mentality for the young freshman, Caitlin Clark.
Here's Garantes. Has had a good third quarter. The step-back move, too strong. Gets it right back. Garantes with 10 points in the third.
She had Diamond Johnson on the swing on the other side, and that could have been a penetration to the elbow.
Or not. To Goodman that time. The quick hands from Johnson. And a foul committed on Sharon Goodman.
Well, let's see if Rutgers can move well against this defense that Iowa has in place. They may show some triangle and 2 at times as well.
How about that? Finding the little 5-5 guard and right in the middle.
And that's what we were calling for. They had that zone. Nobody was present at the B1G logo in the paint.
This Rutgers coaching staff knew that Iowa would throw all kinds of different defenses at them tonight. I mean, it's what Lisa Bluter and her coaching staff have been known for. Marshall's first three-point attempt. She has a new career high and chalk it up to 7 three-point makes tonight.
Let it fly, Gabby Marshall. Let it fly. Hey, she is playing with a sense of confidence that has just been incredible to watch.
Liz Martino has entered the game for the first time. Johnson chases it down. Garantes the no-look to Giles for 2.
Just keep trying to attack that zone from the high post area, right at the nail, right in the middle.
Look out, Johnson so quick. And the steal takes for 2.
Rutgers is second in the Big Ten in steals with 12.7 steals.
Mastered.
Well, they have been outstanding in terms of their defensive anticipation off the ball. They have had double-digit steal numbers in 12 of their 17 games this season.
Taking the contact, and Clark finishes. $15 now for Clark. Martino got this Iowa defense up in the air. They're working around to Giles. From the wing, she hits.
Now Rutgers needs to utilize their defensive prowess. Now that their shots are falling, that can make a difference if they can get some more steal and score opportunities on the defensive end.
6 three-point makes now for Rutgers. Hanging around, having a good third quarter. Outscoring Iowa in that quarter. With just a few seconds left here in the third. Marshall continues to build on a career-high night. 27 now for Gabby Marshall.
Gabby Marshall did a good job. Takia Mack ran her off of that three-point line, as she should have. She went in, and that mid-range shot was there for her.
Martin with a good rebound. 6 of them in this game. And look at the hawking defense by Takia Mack.
She is just everywhere with quick hands, quick feet.
Garantes has picked up the defensive assignment in the second half on Caitlin Clark. Here's Martin with 4 on the quarter clock. Martin with the crossover. 1 on the quarter clock, trying to beat the buzzer. It earned out.
Game that definitely improves that 7th seed projection for the Hawkeyes.
And they've already beaten Rutgers once this year, as you saw, and they beat Michigan. Those are their 2 best wins of the year. Garantes throwing it up with the left hand, coming out of that timeout. Clark taking it inside. She shot more 2-point shots than 3-point shots here tonight.
Well, when she gets downhill, it's just tough to stop. She's so wiry with her game and so long when she goes up and extends for that shot.
17 points, the 8 assists. Shooting 50% from the floor. With 7 2-point attempts and 5 3-point attempts tonight for Clark as she picks up the foul against Garantes.
Garantes on the last couple of possessions, Lisa, she has really kind of taken it upon herself just to make something happen. And although she was fouled on this possession, the previous possession was a missed shot, and no one was in there to board. And I think that has been an issue for Rutgers. Iowa is out-rebounding them 7-10 on the offensive glass. So those second-chance opportunities, they try to maximize those, and they haven't really had those opportunities because they're not sending enough people to the boards.
Clark gives it up to Marshall. Sonano got double teamed, and Mack tipped it away.
Takia Mack was just all over that ball. She knew they were trying to get that mismatch when Zippy Broughton was matched up with Sonano, and Mack was like, no, switch off, I've got it, and came baseline side, stayed loose and got a deflection.
Giles was screaming for the basketball as she got her look that she wanted. Giles passing up to 3 that time, and will take it high off the glass for 2.
Smart move. She had Monica Sonano on her, didn't want to settle for the jumper.
And Monica Sonano's going to win that battle against Diamond Johnson every time in the post.
Yep. Well, that's why you have to hustle and get back and be present. Sonano does a tremendous job of setting herself up in prime real estate inside the restricted area in transition.
Marshall this time on Garantes. Shovel pass with the left hand. Giles has gotten all kinds of looks from there. She can't knock it down that time. 1 of 4 from 3. Trying to break this Rutgers defense down. And a foul committed that time on Johnson.
Well, this is the kind of ravenous defense that we know Rutgers to bring to the table night in and night out. And on the other side, nice drive by Miles Giles. And they need to stay consistent with those kinds of efforts. Great defensive effort on one side, great offensive read and decision-making on the offensive end.
Clark makes good on both. 19 points, 5 of 5 from the free throw line for Caitlin Clark. Garantes tosses it away. Did not get the offensive movement that she wanted. We were seeing a couple of the great freshmen, not just in the conference, but in the country here tonight. Diamond Johnson's put up 22 tonight, and Clark has 19. You look at Caitlin Clark, Christy, who is the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. In any year, like you look at the numbers for Diamond Johnson, any year, that's good enough to win freshman of the year for Diamond Johnson.
No question, and she was second team this year in the Big Ten. But Caitlin Clark, I mean, she just came into this league and took it over, dominating in so many different facets of the game.
Quick hands for Mack. And Kate Martin is right there with her and forces a tough shot, and it's Johnson with the cleanup job.
Good job by Kate Martin not to give up on the play. Right there to contest it. And Mack missed that shot. And lucky her teammate ran with her to clean it up.
6.5 to play. Warnock with a wide open look.
Well, McKenna Warnock, we didn't know how much she would be able to play. She took a really hard screen yesterday and had some issues with the mobility in her neck area. Looked good on that shot.
Started every game this year. We showed you one of the faces of the supporting cast to Caitlin Clark and Monica Sinano. And she is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated Big Ten players this season.
Well, she's the leading rebounder for Iowa. And she just hustles and makes plays.
Mack getting whistled for the foul. You mentioned the injury, I guess I could say, because she collided that hard screen right there, and she is patched up a little bit. The medical staff, Lisa Bluter, telling us they had to tend to her pretty much all day leading into this game here tonight. So maybe for McKenna Warnock, holding that neck, it might have been better that this was a later tip for her in Iowa.
No question, so she can get all the treatment, try to keep that neck warm, keep it loose. She did have a patch on it to start the game, just to kind of keep the heat in there. But that's not on there now, so she must be feeling a little bit better in that way.
I've gotten accustomed to knowing those patches.
Same.
That's only because we're getting a little bit older, not because we're running into hard screens.
We're just active, that's all. I'm just trying to make sure we're ready to go.
Broughton flips it up. Garantes with the tip. Singleton dribbles it out. Garantes inside. And it's maybe Sinano with the foul there.
Rutgers.
Sinano.
Rutgers is running out of time. And Arella Garantes is playing with some desperation. And I don't know if that was really a great shot to take. I mean, she was surrounded by 3.5 bodies from Iowa underneath the basket. And I don't know if that's what they were looking for on that offensive set for Rutgers.
And she's had 7 shot attempts here in the second half. 7 of her 18 shot attempts coming so far with 5 minutes left to play in the fourth. Marshall got Giles up in the air. Can't knock it down. And Garantes will take it herself once again.
And that was a nice decision. Great, smart decision there to take it all the way. Nobody stopped the ball. Nobody directed her. But she wants this moment. And she's got to try to do everything she can.
Well, she's whistled for the foul there. Natasha Kamey and the officiating staff making sure that they had the right foul called right before we went into that timeout. Now we resume play.
High ball screen there, attempted by Sinano.
Clark wanted to take that all the way. It's almost like if you got a hand in her face, she looks at that as an immediate challenge.
She loves challenges.
A lot of pass there from Garantes, and Mack gets the finish, and Mack is calling for the full court pressure. Iowa so far handling it.
That was one of the keys. Handle the pressure, break the press, and then be composed in the quarter-court against the pressure that Rutgers brings.
Clark had a little bit of daylight. They're at 13 turnovers, which is right at their average, so nothing crazy in that category, which is what the Scarlet Knights want you to do, is start getting crazy in the turnover category.
I want you to speed up and make poor choices with the ball out of those traps.
Johnson again with the pickpocket. She's got 4 steals on the night and takes it in for another 2. Johnson with 26 points.
Down to a 4-possession game, Lisa. And the way Rutgers can bear down and get those kinds of attacks and steals. No lead is safe, and Lisa Bluter knows it.
Yeah. How many times have...
I think they were probably happy that some of those practice sessions were on Zoom, because I tell you what, they do a tip drill, Lisa. And, you know, the tip drill, you take it off the glass and tip it. And, you know, usually you go a minute or 2 minutes. 20 minutes is the standard at Rutgers. Essence Carson had a chat with the team and asked them, hey, how long have you guys done the tap drill? They said 8 minutes.
How about the pull away jump ball drill? Now, Rutgers won't get the basketball, but that was something to watch.
Yeah, great defense right here. Sonano nowhere to go. See, bring a double team that way. Zippy Broughton tried to walk away with it in her hand. But Essence Carson said, hey, 8 minutes isn't good enough. You need to be at 20.
And 1 second on the shot clock, Marshall. And the kind of night she was having, you'd expect that one to fall. Under 3 to play. Still within striking distance here for the Scarlet Knights.
Diamond Johnson, the freshman, came to get the ball. That's maturity. Only a freshman, but she knows that she needs to settle the team into something.
And Durantes ran into a Hawkeye wall, and she didn't get the call she was looking for.
You can't force the action. If it's not there, it's not there. You got to swing and make that defense work.
Clark coming over to get it. Seven on the timer. And Sonano, Clark to Sonano.
Perfectly executed two-player game right there with Caitlin Clark to Monica Sonano inside. And tomorrow, as always.
And note the afternoon times, too. The first semifinal at 2 Eastern and 4:30 Eastern following that, around 4:30 Eastern. Both of those games on FS2. Johnson has tied a season high with 26. She's got the basketball at the top of the key. Here's Max for a deep 3 attempt. Durantes always seems to find the basketball, but she threw it away. There have been so many offensive possessions, they've been disconnected.
In that one, I'm not sure what Arella Garantes saw, but she was trying to say that Giles should have been over there, but if she wasn't there and can't throw it,
that'd be hard to do.
I mean, if it's a broken play, it's a broken play. You got to make the best of it.
And Marshall picks up the foul. Number 2 on Marshall. Well, 22 points in the first half, 5 points in the second half for Gabby Marshall. A career-high 7 3-point makes. The 27 is also a career high. And she helped to set the tone. If Iowa can pull this out, she helped set the tone in the first half.
No doubt. Those 6 threes.
Johnson going for a career high of herself. She also had 26 points against Minnesota on February 17th. Sitting on 26 points tonight. Wisely passes it up to chew up some time. Clark with the 19 points and 10 assists, make it 21 points. Trying to seal the deal.
Well, she sealed the deal all right. And she has her hands clapping on the defensive end. I mean, this youngster is built for it.
And the Hawkeye fans in attendance making a little noise here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Broughton with the foul. Kathleen Doyle, now an Iowa alum in attendance, also a number 22. Clark, who's 22, hands it off to Sonano. You saw that Indiana Fever mask, right, that Kathleen was wearing?
Hey, love to see it, WNBA. Plays right here in this building.
.5 left to play. Lisa Bluter and Iowa will now have a date with Michigan State in the semifinals. And winning in a couple different ways. I mean, as much of a grind as it was for Purdue, they had 83 points last night, and their offense seemed to be flowing better, and 73 points tonight.
Well, that's what they needed. And against a team like Rutgers, they only give up 56 points, so they're well over that.